Amazing. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Overflow October. And tonight's call, we are going to be talking about belief, because I believe that if you and I really believe that we are going to get overflow, that we are entitled to overflow, then we must make sure that we believe. I want you to type believe in the chats, guys. Now, believe there's three parts to this thing that we look at when it comes to believe. And I believe that the first thing that we have to do when it comes to believing, okay, is the words that we speak. Okay, so the first step to believing is words. What are the words that we are exposing our senses to, whether we are speaking them or hearing them? Okay, writing them down. What are the words that we're exposing our senses to, ladies and gents? Because whatever we think in our heart, okay, that is who we become. And whatever we think, ladies and gents, guess what happens? That is what we speak out of our mouth, okay? And it's very, very important that we, are very mindful of the words that we allow to be a part of our life. What are the words that you write down, whether it be in a text message, whether it be, when you're doing emails or on social media posting? What are the words that you're speaking out of your mouth on a day-to-day basis? What are the words that you're hearing every single day? Because our belief system comes from those words. Every single thing that we know and we live by right now is based on a word. Everything that has been created in the physical has first been created in the spiritual. Every single thing that we have right now was first a thought process, was first a word that came out of our mouth. And so the situation that we are currently in right now is based on the words that we have been speaking. So my question to you is this: what are the words that are coming out of your mouth over your life? What are the words that you are speaking every single day? All right. One of the things I have here, and I've encouraged you all to have, guys, is your goals written down where you can see them everywhere. And I've got written down here, I'm so happy and grateful now. And I've got my goal written down there. Do you see your goals every single day? Are you speaking them out of your mouth? Because this will lead us to the second thing that controls or helps to impact our belief, is based on the images that we have around us. What are we seeing every single day? Ladies and gents, if you see bills, debt, and overdrawn account every single day, then guess what that is going to do to your belief system? You begin to worry, you begin to think about negative things, you begin to have stress, you begin to have, anxiety, you begin to have depression. So we need to make sure that the words that we're speaking out of our mouth is in alignment to the visuals, to the images that we are seeing every single day. And then, of course, the third and final one is our emotions, okay? Our emotions. Emotions are things, guys, that literally affect your belief system. How are your emotions? Are you a stressful person during circumstances, situations? How do you react to certain things? What's your mood like? What's your relationships like with other people? These things are all going to affect your emotions. Ladies and gents, how many of us have been, heard the term emotional? We've made decisions from an emotional place as opposed to a place of logic, or a place of taking time back to say, let me think about this before I go and use words. Here we go again, words that's going to take me away from the goal, from the decision that I made to believe in what it is that I'm believing for. The emotions that you have are tied to the circumstances, ladies and gents, to the words that you are speaking. And so how do we reverse engineer this? If we change the words that we speak, it then changes the perspective on the circumstance in which we are looking at that thing, right? Because I tell you this, guys, we can decide whether to be in a good mood or whether to be in a bad mood based on the words that we choose to speak out of our mouth, based on the images that we see every single day, based on the things that we surround ourselves with every single day. And I challenge you today to have a look at every situation that urges you to speak lack instead of profit, that urges you to speak death instead of life. I challenge you right now to challenge yourself. So when a situation comes up, tell yourself, I'm gonna speak life over this situation. How many of you know that the people that you hang around can determine your emotions? The people that you speak to can determine your emotions. I remember when I was hanging around, one of my cousins, every time I used to hang with this girl, I found myself in a club. I found myself smoking. I found myself doing things that I know didn't align with my belief system for what I believed in myself. And so I had to separate myself from her. Not that she's a bad person, but I just knew it brought out a side of me that I just didn't like. And so the type of people that you're around will determine how long you speak the way that you speak, will determine what are the things that you decide to do, the decisions that you make, how you begin to handle obstacles. It determines what it is that you do when it comes to the friends that you keep, the leaders that you have, the posts that you post, right? Every single thing to do with your emotions is connected to your circumstances, your relationships, and the environments that we put ourselves in. And so I want you to think of a goal that you have for yourself. I want you to think of something that you are believing for. What is it that you believe for yourself? What is that goal? What is the thing that you are believing for? And then ask yourself, are my words on a day-to-day basis in alignment with that? Let me tell you this, guys, our emotions are controlled by those words that come out of our mouth. You see, we can choose to see the glass half empty, or we can choose to see the glass half full. Determining what we focus on will determine on the results that we achieve. We can focus on the things that are not going well. We can focus on the things that are not working in the way that we want it to work. We can focus on the people that don't currently believe in us, or we can focus on the things that are working. We can focus on the things that are doing what they need to do. We can focus on the people that are believing in us. You know, it's very, very interesting. You can always tell successful people from unsuccessful people by the words that they choose to use, by the decisions that they choose to make, by the things that they choose to focus on. Whatever you focus on, ladies and gents, grows. If you focus on positive, if you focus on creating good energy, then that will grow and that will then come forward. If you focus on the negative, if you focus on, one of the things I've made a decision to do a few months ago is to do good feedback. Some of us, we only ring a company, or we only connect with a manager or a supervisor when we want to complain, when we want to say how bad the service was, or we're looking for compensation, or we want somebody to do something for us because we feel like the service has been not so great. But one of the things I've actively chosen to do is to provide good feedback, to be able to say, hey, look, because I know that most people only speak up when there's something wrong. I want you to reflect on your journey. I want you to reflect on the last place that you had service, or the last thing that you did that went really well. Did you tell them? Did you take the time out to say, hey, this was really great service, this was really great? Or are you somebody that only speaks up when you have something to complain about? You see, the way that we think, what we feed our mind, is ultimately what we're going to attract back to us, is ultimately our belief system that's going to be repaired. This is why we do those affirmations, to retrain the paradigms as to what it is that we have instilled in us. Because growing up from a young age, we may have been taught by our parents to make sure that we turn one light off before we go into another room. We're getting it now. We understand it. Those of you that have seen energy right now, we're coming right back around. And some of you are turning into your parents, right? You're telling the children, listen, turn off the light. How come you left the light on? Right now, we're starting to understand. Some of you are now apologizing to your parents. I get it now. I wasn't in that season, but I get it now. But some of the things our parents taught us came from a place of lack, guys. It came from a place of, desperation. It came from a place of worry. It came from a place of fear. How many of us got taught by our parents, never speak to strangers? These paradigms Keep your business to yourself. Don't tell. If you have a problem, don't go outside and tell anybody. Guys, I'll tell you this, the most money I've made, the most peace I've had, the most love I've felt has been from strangers. Thank God that I broke that paradigm of not speaking to strangers, because that's where I've received most of the love, most of the success that I have. Some of the paradigms around, you know, making things stretch and we're gonna run out. I had to shift that paradigm of lack, not trusting people because everybody's against you. Everyone wants to get at you. Everybody doesn't want to get at you. Everybody isn't against you. Maybe they, you know, maybe they made a comment from the place of where they were on that day, but it wasn't necessarily about you. Maybe they didn't mean, you know, to upset you. Maybe they don't know that they upset you, but every word you're hanging on to because the paradigm was taught that you got to fight harder than everybody else, that your journey is going to be harder than everybody else. There's too many snakes out there. Nobody cares about you. You got to do this all by yourself. How many of our parents, how many of our, you know, carers taught us that you're going to be doing this thing all by yourself? And what happens is because we have that paradigm, we then manifest being by ourselves. So we end up single. Or we end up in a place where we're unhappy, or we end up not having friends, not because that's what we're destined to have, but because we've had that paradigm and we've played along to the position that we've been taught. So some of us have to reshift the mindset. Some of us are disrespectful to people that God has put in our life to bless us, but because we don't know how to handle that, we end up being disrespectful to those individuals, not realizing that God has put them in our life to bless us. Sometimes we're in situations, ladies and gents, where we don't believe that we deserve mentorship. We don't believe that we deserve love. Oh, I don't want to bother that person, so I'm not gonna message them. I'm not gonna call them because I don't want to bother them. I don't want to beg no friend. We were taught not to beg friend when we were younger, right? If somebody ignores you, you ignore them back, right? How many of your parents taught you if that person doesn't want to be your friend, find somebody else? Don't beg friend. We were taught not to beg friend. But guess what? Sometimes, and I tell you this, me rubbing shoulders with certain people, sometimes the right people that's going to help you are not going to be easily accessible. And you have to fight to be in the rooms that's going to transform your life. You have to fight to get the attention. You got to fight to get the access. You have to fight to get that respect. And, you know, it sounds so crazy because we're having to shift some of those old thought processes. How many of you have been let down before? Maybe you were scammed before. Maybe someone stole your money before. You lent money and they didn't pay it back, or you were promised a service, or you were promised something and it didn't go well, it went bad. And so now the paradigm's teaching you that everyone's against you, that you got to be skeptical about every single opportunity that comes your way because this happened in the past. And remember, guys, the words that we speak determine our future. And if we keep speaking the past, guess what keeps repeating? Sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, is everybody wrong? Why is it that everybody's walking away from me? Why is it that everybody's saying the same thing? I'm getting the same feedback from 20, 30, 40 individuals. I'm having constant arguments with people. I'm in constant disagreements with people all of the time. Well, guess what, ladies and gents? If the common denominator in that scenario is you. And so sometimes we got to look inside ourselves to say, is it the people or is it me? Is there a reason why there's a disconnect? Is there some healing that I need to do? Is there some readjustment that I need to do? Maybe I'm coming across too aggressive. Maybe I'm coming across, you see, trust breeds trust. How many of you have ever been around somebody that they want to hear all your business, but they don't want to share their business with you? What does that make you feel? That makes you feel like, yo, I can't trust this person because they just want to get information from me. They're not giving me no information about them. So there's a breakdown in trust. There's a breakdown in trust. Personal disclosure is something that will bring forward trust. But you see, if you have trust issues, what you do is you project that onto the persons that you're meeting. You project that onto family. You project that onto people that want to get close to you. And all of a sudden, what looks like you protecting yourself is actually you keeping yourself apart. And then you go around and you tell everybody, you tell people that, oh, I am left out. Nobody likes me. I'm really no mates. But you are the one that rejected yourself. You are the one through the actions and the lack of personal development and the lack of self self-acknowledgement, self-awareness, self-reflection of growth. Growing is important. We have to grow. We have to self-reflect. The world is not against you. The world loves you. You were born to create. You were born to command. You were born for ownership, but you have to accept. You have to accept who it is that you've been called to be. And you got to believe that there is a way for you to move forward. I believe that God has put people in my life for a reason. And I almost lost the access to the individuals that God put in my life because I didn't see them. I didn't notice what it was that they were doing. I didn't believe in the vision that they had. I didn't believe in what it was that they were doing. And I listened to hearsay. Sometimes you will have seeds of doubt sown into you from people or words or situations that you don't even know is happening. It just comes out of the blue. How many of you have set your mind to do something and then a birdie whispers in your head, your own thoughts process comes forward and then starts saying, you can't do this, back up. This is going to be too hard. Don't do it. You start getting doubts. Now you start moving the goalposts. You say, actually, well, I'll wait. I'll do this in the new year instead. Oh, no, I'll just wait for somebody else to tell me it's okay. And then you call one of your friends or you call somebody to give you that affirmation or that confirmation. But because of the paradigm, you're used to speaking to a certain type of people. And so the certain type of people that you speak to are going to talk you out of it because they're going to say to you, oh, you're going to do one of those things, or you're going to do this, or you're going to do that, or you're going to do that. And all of a sudden, your belief system begins to shift because of the words that you're allowing into your mind. I challenge you today to grow in the right environment. You know, there's a word that says that the wheat and the wheat and the weeds have to grow for a time. And if you pull up the weed too soon, it will destroy the wheat. So sometimes I'm speaking to someone today who's like, Nikki, I really want to get out of my job. I really want to leave my job. And I'm like, sometimes you got to be a little bit patient. Because if you quit your job just that too soon, before the wheat is strong enough, guess what's going to happen? There will be no harvest. So I get it sometimes that you're eager for results. I get it sometimes that you want it now. But sometimes we have a saying in Jamaica that says, if you want good, your nose has to run. That means that sometimes there's going to have to be some sacrifice. Sometimes it's not going to be plain sailing. Sometimes it's going to be teething problems. Sometimes it's going to be some shifting. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit more work ethic. Sometimes it's going to take staying up a little bit later, waking up a little bit earlier. Sometimes it's going to take you to go to the gym. Sometimes it's going to take you to bite your tongue and not argue with your spouse. Sometimes it's going to take you to turn the other cheek. You don't have to respond to everything. Not everything deserves your response. Not everything that you see, you need to acknowledge. This is why we got to keep retraining the mind. This is why we got to make sure that we are actively, people want to lose weight, they go to the gym. People want to lose weight, they watch their diet. Well, if you want to grow in your belief system, you want to grow in your mind, it's very, very important that you work on the words that you speak and the images that you're seeing, the emotions that you're having. They're all linked to your belief system. If you are somebody that wants to be successful in life, successful in any area of your life, it's so, so important to control those areas of your life. Guys, circumstances are going to come up and they will affect your emotions, but you get to decide how you allow those things to happen. Guys, there's images that you put in front of you. What are you watching? Some people are watching television constantly, and these words, these images that they're watching is feeding their mind into something else. There's certain things I just won't watch. There's certain people I won't follow on social media because of the images that's being put out there. These all program the mind, all program the mind. How do you respond? By the words that come out of your mouth to day-to-day things that happen. You know, I used to say things like, you know, my arm is killing me. I'm not manifesting that. It ain't killing me. I am healing, okay? I am blessed. The pain is subsiding. Healing is in my name. I receive it and I believe it. I'm not going to speak death over myself. I don't want you to speak death over yourself no more. Speak life over yourself. Build the confidence in you by what you're listening to. Ladies and gents, personal development is so important. I don't go a day without my personal development. I study my mentors every single day. A day don't go by where I'm not studying my mentor. A day don't go by where I'm not pouring into my mind. Personal development. What's your personal development plan? What do you do on a daily basis to feed your mind just as often as you feed your stomach? Where's your notebook on your personal development? Where do you challenge your mind to grow on a daily basis? Where are you growing internally? How are you learning to handle your emotions on a daily basis? How you handle situations. Do you make your bed every day? Guys, I've said this so many times. If you're somebody on this call that has a desire to make $1 million, if you can't make your bed every day, how on earth do you think you're going to make $1 million? Consistency. It takes the same level of consistency to make $1 million as it does to make your bed. Daily habits of operation. You need a daily habit of how you think. How do you check up on yourself when you start thinking? Listen, there was a time when I had some broke thoughts. I remember, guys, I was telling this story the other day. I was downloading an app. Okay, I was buying something inside the metaverse, right? And when I went to pay, it wouldn't take debit or credit card. It was asking me for another wallet, which I didn't have. So it meant an additional step to download a different app to be able to get this app. I now download this app, and then the app's telling me to go onto another site. And I tell you, for a moment, I had a broke thought. And I had the broke thought that this is too hard. I'm not going to do this. And I threw my phone down and I was like, I'm not doing this. And then a word said to me, Nikki, you better practice what you preach. Nothing is too hard. It's a few extra steps. And we're so used to that microwave situation. We're so used to getting things now. We're so used to getting things now that I almost forgot that I was getting information before the masses. And so being in was more important than the finer details of the technology that wasn't working in the way that I wanted it to, but actually being in was the most important thing. And so here I was now, picked up my phone and I went through the extra steps. It took me almost an hour to get these extra steps done so that I could then purchase the crypto that then allowed me to purchase the property inside the metaverse. And guess what, guys? From a £60 transaction, that property is now worth $2,000. Now, what's the point of my story? The point of my story is there's a mindset shift that has to take place. It happens to all of us. Those broke thoughts come into our mind sometimes. The broke thoughts come into our mind when we say, oh no, I can't bother, I'll do this tomorrow. Oh no, I won't do this anymore. I'll wait. Like, these thoughts come into our mind, but I want to tell you now that your consistency will be key in this season of overflow. If you believe that you deserve overflow, then guess what? You got to have an overflow mentality. I've been studying our good old Kobe Bryant, and I'm telling you right now, the Mamba mentality is coming out of your girl right now. It's beast mode. It's beast mode time, because I'm expecting the overflow. I don't know about any of you guys on this call, but I'm expecting overflow. And so if I expect overflow, I have to talk like I expect overflow. I have to walk like I expect overflow. I have to behave like overflow is knocking at my door and I can't get away from it. Even if I made a run for it, it still will catch me down. Overflow is banging down my door. Overflow is coming out of my cupboards. Overflow is on my phone. Overflow is in my bank account. Overflow is in my car. Overflow is over my family, my children. Overflow is at the school. Overflow is on my street. Overflow is everywhere. It's overflow. It's overflow in my connections, in my relationships, in the people that I'm around, in the music that I'm hearing, in the words that I'm speaking, in the relationships that I'm having, the conversations that I'm having, the people around me. It's overflow in the government. It's overflow everywhere right now. And so if I truly believe that in my heart, then I have to walk it as I talk it. And how do I do that? If you're on this call right now, say, Nikki, things don't look good for me right now. I'm in a tight spot. I'm in a sticky situation. So it sounds all good, this believing stuff. It sounds all good saying, walk it as you talk it, speak life over my situation. But I'm looking at my situation and it don't look pretty right now. Well, here's what I got to say to you is stop looking at your situation. Stop speaking about your situation and start speaking about what it is that you seek. If you speak what it is that you seek, then what it is that you seek will show up into your reality. It will come into your situation. It will start to come. It will start to appear. The right phone call will happen. Somebody will come into your life. Someone will knock on your door. All of a sudden, you'll get tax rebate. All of a sudden, a family member that doesn't like you or fell out with you is going to call you and apologize. All of a sudden, certain things just begin to move. Money starts appearing in your account. The debtors, listen, the people that owe you money are going to start putting that money back. The people that stole from you are going to start giving you back. The people that did you dirty are going to come back and apologize. But if you keep speaking the past, if you keep carrying that energy, guess what happens? You repeat that in future relationships. You repeat that in the things that you do. You repeat that in the people that you hang around because you're carrying that baggage. So coming with believing, you have to forgive. You got to let go. You got to let go and let God. You got to let go and let your future manifest. Let go and let the overflow flow. Let go of these stuff that's holding you back, the ignorance, the attitude, the conflict and the negativity and the highlighting negatives and all of this stuff. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go and just be. Let it go and be the person that you want to be. The way that you dress, how you carry yourself, how you speak to other people, how you check. Listen, the way that you speak to people that you need nothing from, the way that you speak to people that you are around is a reflection on the love that you have for yourself. Guys, I see it so much times, especially being a black girl. You hear about the black girl attitude, or, you know, the black, I can't even move my neck, you know, because my neck's all, you know, healing and that, right? But we have to change away from some of the paradigms that we've been told and we've been taught. Stop living up to the words that's been set over your life. Stop living up to the things that they said about you. Stop holding on to what they said about, oh, this person said that about me. Who cares? You got to be about who you're about. And that's all going to come from the way that you believe. How do you believe in yourself? How do you start to believe in yourself? Start speaking life. Start putting the images. Start going to environments in where you believe that you deserve to be around. Go test drive a new car. Go and view a new house. Go and sit in a hotel that, you know, you believe is a nice hotel. Go and hang around places with the type of people that you want to hang around. Put yourself in environments around the type of people that you want to hang around. Let me tell you this. If you bake cakes, right, this may be a revelation for some of you guys. If you bake cakes and you're consistently putting yourself in rooms with other bakers, that is why you're in the situation that you're in, because your clientele isn't other bakers. Your clientele isn't other bakers because they can also bake cakes. You need to put yourself in an environment around people that want to buy cakes. Somebody's going to understand this tomorrow. Some of you are hanging around the same type of people and expecting to get a return. But guess what? If you're hanging around the same type of people, they don't need what you have. And you're pushing your product, you're pushing your calling, you're pushing your anointing onto, yes, some of you are going to get that on the way home. Some of you are going to get that tomorrow. But stop pushing your anointing on people that believe that they don't need it. Stop pushing your anointing and your product on people that don't want to buy because they want to sell the same thing that you're selling. Here's what you need to do. You need to get in an environment with around the people that want to buy what it is that you're selling, want to take the anointing that you have. Get around the type of people that have the need for what it is that you are and the purpose and the calling that you have over your life. If you sell cars, why are you going to be in a room with other people that sell cars? Ain't none of them going to buy. Why? Because they're doing the same thing. And we've been taught to get around like-minded people. Yes, like-minded, but it doesn't mean the same industry. Get around people that are in a different industry than you. Get around people that do something different. Listen, let me tell you this. I've been studying Serena Williams. I've studied Michael Jordan. I've studied Oprah, Princess Diana. I've been studying people from all different industries. And would you believe every single one of them have every single success trait in common? They are consistent. They are focused. They studied one thing and they mastered that one thing. They have relationships with the right type of people. It doesn't matter what industry I study of successful people, they all have the same thing. And guess what? Every single one of them, they believe in themselves. The self-confidence formula, guys, it works. And if you haven't read the self-confidence formula, I advise you to read that on a daily basis. Because if you can get self-confident, if you can begin to believe in yourself, now there's a difference between self-confident and ego. self-confidence and arrogance. We ain't talking about arrogance and ego and thinking you're better than anybody else. This is about believing in yourself, your God-given abilities, your giftings over your life. Now, here's this. This is how you can tell when somebody's living in their calling and when somebody really believes in themselves, is about the amount of people that they help. Because the gifting on the inside of you, given to you by God, is not for you. So if you are the only one benefiting from you, if you're not pouring into other people, if you're not helping, if you don't have testimonials of people that are contacting you, that want to be poured into you, that want to hear from you, or your gifting is not helping other people, then I'm telling you now that there's a selfishness that needs to come off of you. There's a thing that you need to say, listen, get out of my head, get out of my own way. Stop talking about I'm shy. Stop talking about I can't do this, and understand that there's people waiting for you to drop all of the fear, to drop all of the past words, for them to live in their calling. You need to live in yours. And so I want to encourage you to work on your belief. Part of your belief, part of your personal development is coming here every Monday and pouring into yourself. And I want to challenge you today on today's call. I want to challenge you to write down 3 things that you can personally do to improve your belief in regards to what it is that the words that you're speaking out of your mouth, what it is that the images that you are seeing, and the emotions. How can you make sure that your emotions are in alignment with what it is that you're believing for yourself? It's vital, especially in this season that we're in right now. It's vital, guys. How you believe and how big you believe will determine the results that you have. I want to encourage each and every one of you on tonight's call and those watching this on the replay. You have to be your #1 fan. You have to believe in yourself more than anybody else. You have to be able to love yourself enough to put the work in. Love yourself enough to not procrastinate, but to take action. Love yourself enough to speak positive, kind, loving, abundant words over yourself. Love yourself enough to put you in an environment around positive people. Love yourself enough. Don't curse what God put in your life to bless you. Don't you dare curse what has been given to you as a blessing. Embrace it. Embrace love. Embrace correction. Embrace the new you. Embrace a new season if you need to. Embrace, make a decision that this is going to be a new overflow for you. That you're making a decision that it's overflow time. That it's time that there's no more playing small. It's time that you're going to allow the pouring. You're going to allow whatever it is that needs to come from on the inside of you to finally come out. Some of you are playing too small. And I want today to be the day that you say no more playing it small. No more playing it small. It's time to go all in. I'm going to receive what's mine. That overflow has been waiting for me, and now I'm going to accept it. Now I'm going to say yes. Who's saying yes to the overflow? Who's saying yes to the overflow? Because your words can change your circumstances. I tell you this right now. Your words can change your circumstances, guys. So as I wrap up this call, I just want to remind you that the environment that you're in is going to set up your success. Point blank. The environment that you're in is going to set up your success. It's going to set up, everything that you have. The music that you listen to is going to help with your mood. What are the music that you're listening to? What are the sounds that you're hearing? The words that come out your mouth, the words that you're hearing can change your circumstances, can change your words. Okay? It's important. It's so, so important. All right? I need you to understand, guys, the images that you see on a daily basis are going to affect, your mood. It's going to affect, your belief system. It's not just about having a vision board. You need to have visions all over your house, your car, everywhere you go. Are you constantly seeing your goals? Are you constantly seeing what it is that you want? Guys, you won't believe this. I've had this picture for almost 2 years. And finally, it's starting to make sense. Finally, guys, I lost 8 pounds in the last 2 weeks. Finally, it's making sense. I attracted this. I'm looking at one of my goals. Every single time I come on this call, this is where I'd normally be picking. I'd normally be eating a little crisp or chocolate or sweets. And I've got this here as a reminder, and I've lost 8 pounds in the last 2 weeks. We're not out here playing no games. Your environment, your associates, guys, who am I spending my most time with? Who am I speaking with for the most of my time? Are you speaking to people that are broke? Are you speaking to people that are negative? Are you speaking to people that are positive, that are wealthy in mind, wealthy in body? Who are you speaking to on a daily basis? Who are you spending most of your time with? What are the information that you're getting from those people? What are the information that you're getting on a daily basis? Who are you getting that information from? The experiences that you're having, what experiences are you putting yourself in? Go test drive, go view the property. All right, you're going to believe through those experiences. And so if you're locked up in your house, if you're sitting down on the couch or in your bedroom, and that's all you see every single day, then guess what? That is where you're going to stay, guys. You have to get out from behind the curtain. You got to get out from behind the sofa. You got to get out from behind the bedroom. That's how depression seeks in. Everybody's hiding away because the enemy wants you to hide away. The enemy wants you to isolate yourself. And so you got to find a way to give yourself experiences. Put yourself in rooms. Put yourself around people. Don't isolate yourself and tell yourself that you can stay isolated and it's okay. We'll do it tomorrow. Guess what? Tomorrow never comes. Every day you keep saying tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow never, ever comes. So if you put yourself in these things, it will take you out your comfort zone, but it's going to help your mood, guys. It's going to help you. So whatever you desire, whatever you believe, that's what you're going to receive. And so we got to make sure that we're shifting the paradigm of our mindset. We're shifting the paradigm of what we believe. And we're going to make sure, okay, we're going to make sure that we receive the overflow season. Don't let it pass you. Don't let the overflow season pass you, guys. Don't let it pass you and you wonder what happened and said, oh, this didn't work. Oh, no. You got to work if you want it to work. You got to put the action in. So I want you guys to write down 3 things. Those of you that are on Instagram, go ahead and just tag me in and let me know that you were on this call. Let me know that you're fired up. All right. Hashtag overflow. Hashtag overflow season. If you receive it, guys, I can't wait to hear the testimonies. I can't wait to see you guys live out in your purpose and your calling. But you got to make a decision to now. This is day 1 of believing in yourself properly. Okay. Catch yourself if you start speaking negative. Catch yourself if you start having those broke moments. We're going to have a confessionary. If you have a broke moment, you're going to say, listen, I had a broke moment, but I caught myself. That's why we don't say the T word. Okay. We don't say that T word. Why? Because we understand that we either do it or we don't. There's no in between. It's either it's done or it isn't. So we're going to get ourselves in position, guys. I'm so super excited for you guys. Have an absolutely amazing day. All right. Amazing week. I'm going to see you here next week. Same time. Okay. Same link. And we're going to share some testimonials as well of how we've been able to receive the overflow. I believe that in the next 7 days, by the sound of my voice, in the next 7 days, that there's going to be some overflow testimonies. How many of you received that? I can't wait to hear those overflow testimonies. Declare it in the chat right now. Overflow testimony, overflow testimony, overflow testimony. Come on, overflow testimony. I want to hear overflow testimony season in the next 7 days. We're going to have overflow testimony season. Overflow testimony. Overflow testimony season. It is indeed an overflow testimony season. Next week, guys, we're going to be sharing those. I'm super excited for each and every one of you. Let's make it happen. Peace out. You already know what time it is. I am Nikki Sutherland. No other pages. Don't let the scammers get you. Don't get got. All right. I'm never going to text you or message you, ask you for no money, nothing like that. Okay. So make sure you're on the right page, and I'll see you all at the top, because you already know the bottom is way too crowded and we only go down there if we're going to pull somebody else up along the way. Overflow testimony. Let's go.